We left the USA for good in 2024 after I witnessed a horrific drive-by shooting watching prom kids run for their lives in the nicest neighborhood in Kansas City, Missouri. It was something that I couldn't get past. I decided this was it. We'd taken scouting trips before. We'd done all of the things. We'd been planning. We'd been thinking, when is the perfect time? Let me tell you, there's never a perfect time. Sometimes you've just got to go. And today I want to tell you how we did this in 60 days. How we sold our house, our cars, virtually everything we owned except for 4 checked bags and our cat. And we moved to Albania, a country that is both beautiful, safe, and just a great place to live. So let's get into it. Before we do that, please subscribe. Please follow us. It really helps us a lot, and we're trying to bring you tips and stories and information from people like us. Not just us, but friends that we've made along the way, other expats, other people who you can relate to, who you can connect to, who you share similarities with. So again, please subscribe, please follow us. We really appreciate it. All right, so after the shooting, we had a conversation and we were like, all right, it's time to go. What do we do? How do we do this? Where can we go? For us, we had a house to get rid of, we had cars to get rid of, all the stuff. And we also had to figure out where we could live because we didn't want to sit in the US for months while we were waiting on a visa for Portugal, France, or some other country. So that really limited the options to Albania, the country of Georgia, or doing something like hopping around a bit until we found a permanent place that we could stay. For us, we really wanted to be in Europe, so we decided to go to Albania. We didn't know a whole lot about the country, but we knew we could stay for 12 months, and that gave us runway. That gave us the ability to figure things out after we had gotten out of the US. So our week 1 in our planning journey was like this. We had to confirm where we were going to go. Like I said, we decided we'd go to Albania. If we really didn't like it, if it didn't work out, we could do something else, but we knew we could stay there for a while. Then we had to figure out money. What were we going to do about money? We were both working corporate jobs. I had the ability to work remotely. From mine, I had to keep a domicile, a residence in the United States. So we had to quickly figure out what we were going to do about that, how we were going to maintain a residence without owning a house, because we didn't want those obligations. We chose Savvy Nomad for that. It's a company based in Florida. They really help you with your Florida residency. They helped me comply with all of the payroll and work obligations that I needed to stay employed in the United States. So that was one of the first things we did. We made sure we had some kind of money, some sort of job security coming in. The next thing we had to figure out was, how are we going to get rid of this house and all of this stuff? So we'd called our realtor, and she said, it's summer. People want to be in your house or be in a new house before the school year starts. So that really shrank any sort of timeline for us. It made us realize this is going to happen in the next 2 months because it was early July and school starts the 1st of September, essentially. So we got the house ready to stage. And in doing that, we had to figure out what to do with the stuff. We'd read online, we'd talked to people, put your stuff in storage, rent your house, sell your house, whatever. We didn't want to put our stuff in storage. We didn't want that obligation. We didn't want the tie back to the US. We were ready to go. We wanted to start again, start new. So we started calling estate sale companies. And, well, guess what? Estate sales are really popular in the middle of the summer. It was very busy, and none of the big estate sale companies in the area could help us in the time that we needed, in the time that we thought we would likely have our house sold. So we, again, had to figure out what to do. We decided that we would just attempt to do it ourselves. We had gone to multiple estate sales before. We had some experience selling things on Facebook Marketplace. I love vintage cars. I've restored cars for years. I'd sold cars. We had some idea what we were doing. So we just dove in and we started sorting everything we owned. we started this process by buying suitcases. That is literally one of the first things that we did. And we told ourselves, if our stuff does not fit in the suitcases, it's not going to go with us. Then we had to get a little more practical. We had to think about, what do we do with our cat? How do we make sure that he is prepared to move? And what do we do about medications and doctors and this sort of thing? So we called the vet and we said, we're going to Albania. And our vet was like, I don't know how to help you. That's not something I'm super familiar with. You might try these vets. I called a couple more and one of them was like, oh, sure, no problem. I need to do some research to make sure we get the paperwork right, but we'll take care of you. I'll call you back in a couple of days. And they did, and they were fantastic. We have another video about moving with our cat. Please feel free to check that out. And then there was the doctor, the medicines. What do we need to do before we leave the US? Because we didn't understand how healthcare worked in Albania extensively, how dental care worked in Albania. So we thought, let's be smart. Let's use our insurance. Let's go get all of the checkups and things. And we did that. The next thing we really started focusing on was how to get rid of all of the stuff. I mentioned we did our own estate sale, but we had to sort an entire house of stuff. We had my great-grandparents' china. We had all of the family photos. We had everything you could imagine in our basement. And we'd renovated this house for the last 5 years, like from the ground up. So we had half-used cans of paint. Initially thought, well, let's donate or discard a bunch of this stuff and we'll sell what's left. But the more we got into the estate sale planning and what we were going to do, we decided, no, let's wait. Let's mark everything for sale that we're not going to take with us. Let's see if it sells, and if not, we'll donate it or discard it then. So this is something I've actually written an ebook about. We've also put out a video about this. We've written a blog post about it. It's something you can do yourself. We made over $10,000 in a weekend, excluding what we made on our cars. We sold stuff like half-used cans of paint. That really helped to fund our move abroad. I mean, no, it didn't pay for everything for years, but it put a lot of cushion in our pocket to make this transition even smoother. We didn't have to give away 30 to 50% of the proceeds of our goods. We didn't just donate them. We thought, we want to build up as much cash cushion as we can. Yes, I was going to maintain my job. Spencer had left his. But I was going to maintain my job, but I didn't want to do that forever. I wanted to get out of this American sort of rat race work culture. So we were trying to think as strategically as we could while meeting our very short timeline. How do we cash in? That estate sale really, really helped for us. So at this point, we're going through the house, we're pricing things, we're sorting things, we're getting ready for the estate sale, and the house goes on the market. This is like a 2-week timeline at this point when we'd really started digging into, let's get everything priced, let's get everything ready, we have to stage the house. The house had been photographed, it went on the market, and we were super lucky. We got an above-ask offer on the first day the house was on the market, with the caveat that we close in 30 days. So at that point, the timeline was very, very real for us. We were definitely going to take the offer, but we had to get out. So that's the point where we booked our one-way tickets. We did not buy return tickets. We didn't even buy refundable tickets. We bought 2 one-way tickets plus the ticket for our cat. We told the realtor and the closing company, we have flights leaving 2 days after this, so it has to stay on schedule or we're going to do it remotely. I really think that determination helped everyone involved in this process stick to the timeline. We were very clear. Our deadline was fixed at this point. We were going, and we had to put everything in action to do that. As soon as we accepted the offer on the house, we had to go through all of the process that goes with that, inspections, etc., discussing about who was going to pay for some tree trimming. But we were really in execution mode. It was empty the house, go to the medical appointments, do the things, get the 90-day prescriptions for everything, because we didn't know what we were going to face when we landed in Albania. But We knew that we were going, and we wanted to be as prepared as we could. The last couple of weeks were really just executing. We had the sale. We were tying up loose ends, doing things like closing bank accounts that we didn't use very often anymore, refreshing our credit cards and things that were going to expire at some point soon. We made sure that we were getting those things done and getting them in our hands, getting updated travel documents. We made sure that we had our birth certificates, these basic things that one might want to have or one might need for residency. And then we left. We had 2 days booked at the Toronto Marriott when we arrived, and we figured life out from that point. We went on a scouting trip. We've done a video about that. We figured out where we were going to live, Saranda, the beautiful place behind me. And we've really spent the last year plus reimagining our lives, doing things that at one point we never thought was possible, or we were stuck in like planning paralysis. We started heavily discussing this back in 2022, and it wasn't until that shooting in 2024 that we said, it's time to go. So I hope this message today helps you to see that you can do it. If you really want to make this happen, just do it. Just put the plan in place and execute it. A lot of people worry about work and money, and look, that's very important. I was lucky enough that I had a job that I could work remotely. I left that job in February, and I've been consulting and doing other various business ventures since then to make a living. I'm not retired. We're not retired. We don't have an endless amount of cushion. But selling our things, starting anew, that gave us breathing room. That gave us a lot of room to reimagine our lives, to build a life that is not centered around the corporate grind that so many of us feel in America. We have time to go explore this incredible country, explore this region of the world. And we can do it in a much more cost-effective way than going on a 1 or 2 week vacation every year, when our job will allow us to take some time off. Now, our job comes second to our life. We live our lives first, and we make work fit into that. I know a lot of this sounds abstract, it sounds impossible. I'm here to tell you it's not. I'm not some superhuman that's got everything figured out. We are learning new things every day. We're dealing with life every day. We're in a country that is foreign to us, and we have a lot to learn. But my point to this video is to tell you that you can do it. If you've decided you want to get out of the USA, you're unhappy with the politics, the gun violence, the who knows what, the corporate culture, you can get out. You need a plan for money, and you can figure the rest out. Just do it. It's been the best thing that we have ever done in our lives for our mental health, for our physical health. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I really hope that this maybe slightly shorter than usual video makes a point for you that you can do it. We talk to people every day now that are in their planning phases, or they're planning their scouting trip. Or some of them are just doing the same thing we did. They're like, we're done, we're packing, we'll be there October 2nd. I hope we can get coffee. And I would encourage you to do it too. Be thoughtful about it. Don't put yourself in a bad situation. Make sure that you have a plan for money, or that you have enough savings, that you have runway to figure out how you're going to make money in a new country. But you can do it. Seriously. You don't need to plan for years. I would tell you actually that planning for years is probably detrimental to you actually picking up and just doing it. Because you get lost in this sea of information and misinformation and, oh, what about this? What about that? Can I get gluten-free this? You're going to figure it out. So just do it. Just pick up your life and move. Because guess what? You can always go home. If you decide that wherever you're from in the US or around the world, if that is home, if you really feel that way, you're going to be welcomed back home. But you might discover that you find a new home, a new place that you never imagined possible, if you just give it a shot. Don't overthink it. Focus on the basics, focus on the really core things, like your finances. Make sure that you have a plan for that. Make sure that you go to a place that aligns with your values. For us, it was finding some place along the sea, the ocean, that was affordable, that had a slower pace of life, that was accessible so we could travel. Albania was that for us. It is that for us. I mean, as you can see behind me, we're looking at Corfu, we're looking at the Ionian Sea. I wake up to this every day. And it is shockingly more affordable than you might think. I mean, life is simpler here. I like to tell people Albania reminds me of America, rural America in the 1980s. Everything is just a little bit easier. People are friendly and nice and welcoming and curious. They want to know why an American would want to live in Albania. And let me tell you, there are a ton of reasons. So please follow along. Please check out some of our recent interviews if you haven't done that with other expats, with retirees. Check out the comments. I'm going to drop some links to several useful resources. We have started a Smile Abroad Club for people that are actively in the process of moving to help people connect with other like-minded individuals that are in the process. I will link to Savvy Nomad. That's who we used to move our domicile, our residence, to Florida. I will link to our immigration attorney. He offers free consults. He made things so straightforward. One of the other benefits of Albania is you can apply for residency from within the country. So you can literally just come here and try it. And if you like it, you can stay. Thank you, guys. Please continue to follow along, continue to subscribe. We're going to bring you the latest and greatest information we can every Tuesday and Thursday, once in a while on Saturdays, and we have a live Q&A coming up with Natasha for all of you that watched her video and really loved it. Thanks again. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.